Alright guys, so what if I told you that you can get a bait casting reel slash conventional reel out of the box, and within 5 seconds or less, just tweaking it with your fingers, you can cast it without even having to put your thumb back on it to slow it down, to even stop it, let it hit a solid ground like we're about to do here, and you won't backlash it. So I get asked a lot, how do you use a bait casting reel without backlashing it? That's the biggest fear for everybody getting into a bait casting reel, and it's what keeps a lot of people from getting into it, is just that thought of backlash, and no one wants to spend all that time doing that. So I'm going to show you guys right now how to do this without backlashing it, and then I'm going to throw in a lot of tips throughout this video on helping you guys get the most out of your reels. Now before we get started, I just want to say one thing, that with these reels right here, most of the time I'm telling you guys that it's getting out there, getting on the fish, being in the right place, the right time. Rarely will you hear me tell you that gear will help you catch more fish. This is one of those things though, that gear will help you catch more fish, just because you can get out there a lot further than you can with those spinning reels. This opens up a lot more water for you to cover, therefore turning into catching a lot more fish. Sometimes those spinning reels, you're getting out there just to a ledge, maybe just off of a ledge, but you're not getting out there over the ledge like you can with these, because some of those spots are 200 feet, 300 feet out there. You just can't get out there with that spinning reel. So let me show you guys what to do right here when you get this out of the box. So when you get this out of the box, you're not going to come with any line in it or anything, but what you're going to want to do is, and it's super windy, and I picked today to do this because this is the most feared time to be using a bait casting reel, is when it's windy. Most people backlash when it's windy, especially if you're having to cast into the wind. But when you get these out of the box, you have this tension knob right here on the side. You have your star drag and your handle. Right underneath your star drag right there, you have your tension knob. So what you want to do is turn that all the way in, screw it all the way in. That puts the maximum amount of tension on the spool, so it's no longer completely free spool. Now, what that's going to do is, I got a 3-ounce sinker on here. Usually, as soon as you click the lever down, the line's going to start trying to pull off of there. But it won't when you do that. What's going to happen now is you're going to be able to cast this out of the box. That's all the tweaking you need to do without having to worry about backlashing. So let's go ahead and cast this thing. So you guys can try to watch. Don't worry about where it's going to go. I'm not going to try to cast it far just yet. Just watch my thumb. As soon as I release, I'm not going to put my hand back on there, and I'll show you guys what the spool looks like. So you guys can see I took my hand off of there. I don't know, let me pull this over here to you guys. There is absolutely no backlash in that whatsoever. And you guys seen, as soon as I released that, I took my hand off there. Now we got probably, I don't know, 20 or 30 yards out of that. Not a real long cast, but you can absolutely zing it and not have to worry about doing that. With the tension maxed out, you can probably get roughly, I don't know, maybe 50 yards or so out of one of your casts. And this, we're casting into the wind right now too. You can get pretty good distance out of your cast, but now the biggest thing is you want to start turning that down once you start getting comfortable with it. That was out of the box, let you guys know that you can cast these without having to worry about backlashing. But to get that distance out of there, what you're going to want to do is start turning this down. So turn it down about a half a turn or so, and you can see even at a half a turn, it's not wanting to pull that line out. You're going to be able to keep getting that distance. Even at a half a turn, without having to put my thumb on there, you still got that. I'd have the clicker on, but you still have no backlash. And we probably went another 10-15 yards there just on a little bit of a half a turn. At the end result, what you're going to want to do and what you're going to want to learn to do is just keep slowly turning that down. But I'm going to go ahead and turn it down quite a bit right here to show you guys. As soon as you let go of that right there, it's going to fall pretty good. That's got your spool is freed up at that point, and you're going to be able to get a lot of distance out of your cast. And the only thing that you need to do at that point is just turn it down, just what I did there. Is when you release it, just leave your thumb rested on there. You don't press your thumb down. You just leave your thumb rested there and let it go. You don't have to stop it or anything. Watch this. I'm just going to rest my thumb on it as I release it. So we got a lot further there and no backlash. All I did was rest my thumb on there. We probably are getting close to now about 70 yards or so out of that cast. And I didn't even try to zing it. So one more time here, I'm gonna turn it on down to about where I'm using it at now. We're just gonna kind of lightly toss it. I'm not gonna zing it. Right now, it's not important that you guys are getting the distance out as much as it is as you are getting comfortable with these reels. So we turned it on down. I'm just gonna lightly throw it over my head. Now it hit the ground. So we're way out there now. And like I said, you can absolutely get really good at these. Zing the crap out of them, get that tension down. And there's water way over there. If I had enough, now you guys can see I don't have a lot of line left on this. If I had my bigger reels, you can literally get to the water from here. That's gonna open up a lot more room for you guys. I really encourage you guys to get into these bait casting reels because it's gonna open up a lot more opportunity for you guys to start catching fish. And I'm probably gonna have to go get this because it's hung up in the grass. All right guys, so before I show you this next tip, now I've heard this, I don't know for this to be 100% accurate and I need your help. I've heard that red subscribe button down below the video here, that if you click that red subscribe button, that you instantly just become one of the coolest people on the earth. Like literally if you have a group of people sitting beside you, like 10 people, all of a sudden you was to hit that subscribe button, you can look back over at those 10 people and they'll all just be looking at you, nodding their head like, you're so cool. And you just kind of look back at them and nod your head and you're like, yeah, I know I'm cool. Now again, I can't subscribe to myself, YouTube won't let me, so I don't know, I'm not able to test that. If you guys could test that out for me and let me know, that would be awesome. But even if it doesn't turn out to be true, I'll still think you're that cool, and you're gonna get a ton of notifications if you hit that bell right beside it about tips like this, being out there on the water, catching fish. So you're gonna get some good information on some videos. So it's a win-win situation. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and let's keep going with this video. But here's another really quick tip for you guys. Whenever you first get one of these, if you've not used it before or you have tried one and you're having a hard time doing it, when you start spooling on the line, when you first get one of these, get about half the spool, about right in there. Get you a piece of duct tape, some good tape, and put it all the way across your spool. What that's gonna do is when you start turning this down and you do start to backlash a little bit here and there, that tape is going to stop it from backlashing the entire spool. You're only going to backlash half of the spool. Super, super easy to get the backlashes out. It literally takes less than 60 seconds to get a backlash out. That's not very deep. Sometimes 30 seconds. It's really, really fast. So definitely you want to put that tape on there to help you when you do start backlashing, to know that you're not going to ruin your line and you're not going to have to sit there for an hour trying to get all that out of there. So another thing is, you guys probably think that to be able to do that out of a box you need a really expensive reel. Well guys, this reel is probably one of the cheapest ones on the market. It's around 30 bucks for this reel. Out of the box, you can do that with these really, really cheap reels. You don't have to buy the expensive reels to be able to not backlash them. Really, really important that you do start out, max it out. Don't worry about trying to get out there really far. Just make sure you just take your time with it, turn it down, put that tape on there. You'll be casting these a mile before you know it, and it's gonna help you catch more fish. It's because of the more water that you're able to cover. Now, real quick, I'm gonna go over some advantages of this over a spinning reel to help further convince you guys into getting one of these. Go ahead and just grab one of these and get started with it. Now, before, like maybe like a year ago or so, they just came out with this on a spinning reel. I don't know how well they work yet. They're just still kind of getting out there with them. But with these reels right here, you can set them out, disengage them. That way when a fish runs with it, it's really, really easy. All you got to do, now this one right here, you have to flip the lever up and start reeling. Some of them you don't even have to do that. You just grab the handle, it'll engage it for you. So you don't have to worry about loosening your drag down on the spinning reels, leaving the bell open, try to get everything flipped manually. You can just do this really quickly. It's gonna help you get that fish in really fast when he takes off with it. But the really thing that I like, the really awesome thing is you got a clicker here on the side. You turn that clicker on, and whenever a fish takes off with it, so especially it's not fishing for catfish, you hear that. When the fish starts running with it, you can hear you're gonna be able to hear it. You don't have to use the glow sticks. You don't have to have your flashlights constantly turned on, lanterns, all that stuff. That's a really good advantage to having those. Another advantage to having this over a spinning reel is that they hold a lot more line. Now this is one of the smaller conventional level wind reels that they have today on the market, and it still holds a ton of line compared to those spinning reels. So you're going to be able to have a lot of line to get out there really far. Big line too. You're going to be able to put, this got 40-pound line on it, a lot of 40-pound line. whenever you put line on a spinning reel, especially bigger line, what you guys notice is that whenever you put it brand new on there and you go to cast it, a lot of times that line will try to spool back off the spinning reel, or you flip the bell to go to cast it and the line just starts feeding off the spinning reel, and it's really aggravating putting new line on there until it gets memorized to the spool. This, you never have that problem from the very second that you put this on here. And then lastly, which is the most reason why you should always want to get this over a spinning reel, and I'm not dogging spinning reels, I still use spinning reels, but I was one of those guys, those stubborn, hard-headed guys for years that said I can catch just as many fish with a spinning reel as these guys can catch with these. I don't have to worry about backlash, and I don't have to worry about all the problems they have with these. The only regret that I have to getting one of these reels is that I didn't get one sooner, and that was coming from a die-hard spinning reel guy at the time. But the biggest advantage, like I mentioned earlier, is you're going to be able to cast these things a mile. It's going to open up a lot more water for you, a lot more opportunity for you to catch more fish. And this is one of the reasons why I started catching more fish based off of just gear alone, was helping me get out there to those spots. There's a lot of places that I used to fish with spinning reels I thought were bad fishing locations. I went back to those with these conventional reels, was able to get out another 100 yards and absolutely had a fantastic day. I mean, 20 plus fish in a couple hours. Really opened up a lot more opportunity for me, really helped me start catching a lot more fish. I really encourage you guys to get into using these. You'll love them once you get into them. If you have any questions that you would like to ask me about any of these things right here, this reel, a spinning reel, anything, go ahead and leave in the comments that question. I'll be sure to get right back to you and get your question answered. If you want to know kind of like what reel might be good for you, go ahead and leave that in the comments. For the type of fishing that you do, I'll try to get you guys on the best reel for your situation. If it's money wise, these are really good reels. If you want to get into some more expensive reels, I can tell you some of those too, but leave that in the comments. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching. And again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, it'd be awesome if you subscribe, leave a thumbs up, and as always, we'll see you in the next video.